Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so excited to be with you all. It is Wednesday, the 25th of February. For those of you still trying to remember how to spell months like me, I'm Lynn Wester, and today is Candid Conversations. I'm hoping you can all join me and we can chat about all things fundraising, donor relations, communications. I don't know what snack you're having, what's going on in the world. But I am happily back home here on island. We had, some of you had a blizzard. We had rough seas and lots of wind, which is very rare. Excuse me. Normally our seas are pretty flat. So when you join us, let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know what's on your mind today. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you all. Cannot believe that next week it is about to be March. I feel like January dragged itself through my life, and now February has decided to run through the universe in a very quick and somewhat efficient way. I don't know. I feel like inboxes are stuffed and, to-do lists are, I don't know, just out there and kind of happening. And so I'd love to hear from all of you. Hey, there's my friend Gail. Hey, Gail. How are things at UCLA? I hope all is well with you. I was just thinking about you the other day. You're going to get an invite from me soon to come hang out on a Zoom. So I have some new things percolating. Last week, I taught myself a new skill set, and it's hard. So I'm learning how to code. I've got some big ideas percolating in the brain to help all of us and our donor comms. So it's coming. It's coming. It's also conference season for a lot of us. We'll be in Chicago in March. As always, I wish all of you could be there. If you can't be there, maybe you can join our webinar series. Yeah, girl, I need to catch up with you. I'm going to send you an email. It's a crazy at a lot of places. For those of you that are on that don't know, there are about 30 plus, or 30 that I know of, organizations, nonprofits, dealing with the fallout of the Epstein files, meaning they either have a staff member, a faculty member, a donor, someone they've named something for that has been in those files. And so that's causing consternation and wringing of hands and public outcry. I searched the files for myself just in case. Not in there, thank God. But there's a lot going on right now. A lot of people are crawling out from a blizzard. I remember in 2014 getting stuck in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I was working as a consultant for Harvard, and I got stuck at the Charles Hotel in one of their blizzards. And that was not fun because snow and I aren't friends. So that was a very interesting moment. But for those of you who are just digging out from all the snow in the Northeast, I hear another one is coming or something wackadoodle like that. But would love to hear from you, would love to hear what's going on in your fundraising environment, questions you might have, things you might be pondering. Would just love to hear it. We at DRG are getting ready. We just launched our How Do I Do It series. And we're really excited about How Do I Do It Part 2. But we want to teach people practical skills, whether it's pivot tables in Excel or merging in InDesign. And I'm sure my teammate will drop the link to our new series on our website in the chat for you all so you can check it out. And so that should be interesting. And then we'll all be together in Chicago, or you can join us in June in Nashville. Now that conference, I mean, Chicago has been completely retooled. We're doing a small cohort model of hands-on facilitated learning. Our conferences have always been purposely purposefully small, but this time we're really having people think deeply about the work that they do. We're learning that not everyone learns the same way, and we've known that for a while, but learning and critical thinking is changing. So we're trying to teach some of those things, come up with tools, come up with resources for people. Um, and so that's what we're doing there. And then in Nashville, we are partnering with Charity Water, which is like kind of a little bit of, I set goals for myself a lot and for DRG, and partnering with Charity Water has been a goal for a long time. So our attendees are actually going to be able to experience their Charity Water Experience Lab live and in person. They will have a custom experience just for them in Nashville. And I'm sure we can drop the link to the conferences as well in the chat. And then the next day, the folks from Charity Water are actually going to come in to our conference and talk about how to create custom donor experiences in person. And we're going to go through a workshop on that. So I'm super jazzed. We're also, our location isn't just a boring conference room on a campus. I love a boring conference room on a campus, but we are actually partnering with a local adventure science museum, and they are helping us with their space, which, I mean, that is going to be, it's just going to be a whole immersive experience, which is something, the last time we did that was in Washington, D.C. We took our participants on a bus, and we took them to the Kimpton, and they made pizza. They had a cocktail making class, and then we had a food truck outside that baked fresh cookies and had ice cream. So, I mean, something like that might happen again. You never know. But I'm really excited about Nashville and planning Chicago, Nashville. And then in the fall, we're going to go to Boston. And our folks there that host us at Simmons University are so wonderful. And we're just excited to bring you all great content, making sure you get the knowledge you need. If you haven't recently read our emails, we're really thinking deeply about the fractional work that we do, helping fill positions or replace people who maybe go on maternity leave. A lot of us do that. If you need your acknowledgments written or your endowment reports done, we offer those services as well. But I want to hear from you all. I see many of you online right now and would love to hear from you. What are you thinking about? What are you planning on? What are the questions that are kind of ruminating in your mind? It is, almost the end of February, and so we're headed into March, or some of you are dealing with mid-semester, might be coming up for some of you, but what's going on in your world? How can we dialogue about it? Also, we posted a ton of new jobs this week to our jobs board. So there's some really great jobs out there. As many of you know, we've had a job board for a while. Since 2023, you can post a job as long as it has a salary range. You just let us know, but it has to show the salary. But hiring is becoming more difficult in donor relations and fundraising, and so that'll be an interesting kind of, but yeah, our jobs board is kicking up. There are lots of jobs out there. I think people are either looking for a unicorn candidate sometimes, or the candidate is looking for a unicorn job. And at the end of the day, it's still a job. That's why you get a paycheck for it. So just thinking about that and thinking about the differences in how we all look at the work that we do sometimes. I know that could be a difference in generation. It could be a difference in perspective. It could be a difference in background, but we like to work hard, that's for sure. Hey, there's Matt. Matt is a friend of mine that works at Michigan State. They're clients and good friends to us. And he said he wants my take and opinion on a question he posed to his team this morning. We're having a significant donor building naming event. Oh boy, the naming donor really wants to tie it into a football weekend. So the best option lands that weekend of September 11th. So the game would be on the 12th. Ideally, celebration would happen on the day before, and that lands on the 11th. It's a sensitive date for many, and in my view, likely a day to avoid. I want to pitch the 10th. Matt, I lived in New York City. I was there. I was not in the World Trade Center or anything like that, but you're in Michigan. So there is a degree of separation. However, this year is the 25th anniversary of September 11th. If it was like the 23rd or the 22nd anniversary, I would feel less inclined to avoid it, but I would avoid the 11th and see if you can push for the 10th or the actual game day of the 12th. The question is, how much distance do we need from a national tragedy? I don't know if there's ever enough distance from a national tragedy. I mean, if you were in New York, I'd be like, absolutely no way, no how, never, not happening. And so I think being thoughtful about it is really important. I will let you know that the 11th is a bad day because it's the eve or erev of Rosh Hashanah. And I actually think I know there's a football game on September 12th, but September 12th is actually Rosh Hashanah, which is the start of the Jewish New Year. Having something on Erev or the eve of a major Jewish holiday. I mean, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are the two big ones. I try to tell people to avoid that. So doesn't matter that you do or don't have a Jewish population. I think it's respectful not to do that. So that would be like having something on New Year's Eve, right, of the traditional Gregorian or Christian calendar. So that would be my opinion. I would try to avoid it altogether. You may not be able to, and there may be people who don't understand the sensitivity. But and so Julie from Cornell, see, this is why I love our community. She said, we had a donor recognition event on September 11th in New York City. See, but they're Cornell. So she had more feelings about it than the attendees. So I think, Matt, you have to weigh it out. The Erev of Rosh Hashanah to me is more concerning in terms of the date flag than, but it's a great conversation to have. I am wondering I don't know if Michigan State has a big ROTC program. This is my spot of ignorance. So just something to think about there as well is, I don't think that's going to be Military Appreciation Weekend because that's usually in November in most football games. I have all this knowledge, but something to think about in general is how do we plan our events? And Julie, it's a great question. I would bet probably that many of those in attendance at that event may not have lived in New York City at the time. I don't know. That's a good one. I love a good brain teaser at 12:13 on a Wednesday afternoon when I swore I wish it was Friday when I woke up today, but it wasn't. Okay, Maureen says, just had a very successful giving day. It was our second year offering Name a Squirrel. I love that. I hope you have a lot of squirrels around your campus. Last year, 74. This year, over 110. People love it. What I want to know, Maureen, is what was the funniest name someone named a squirrel? I know a lot of campuses that do the Name a Squirrel program, Arkansas and some others. So I would love to hear the most fun name that someone named a squirrel, perhaps, or something along those lines. That would be fun to figure out or to hear about at your organization or at your institution. I forgot to say, it is Giving Day season. It's been an interesting Giving Day season for me as a donor. Okay, you're voting on the top 5 funniest. Okay, good to know. Well, we'll need to know the results. So in 2 weeks, you'll have to share the results when we come back together for our chat on March 11th. That's when we'll be back together, the day after my mom's birthday. My dad is turning 90 March 26th, so that's going to be a big day in our family's life. But Sammy is trying to find the cost of the Four Pillars Conference in Nashville. Sure, Sammy, we can provide that information for you and the link to the conference. In addition, we're going to have scholarships. So if you're at a smaller organization or someone who doesn't have a lot of budget money, we will have scholarships available for Chicago. We had 6, I think, scholarships that people received, which covered the entire cost of the conference. All they had to do was pay for their travel. So that was really lovely. And then people who didn't receive a scholarship got a mighty discount of 25 or 50%. So it's good to apply even if you aren't awarded a scholarship. So, and by the way, your username handle, Sammy saw or is a fail, is hilarious. That's really funny. So cute little handle there. I like to see people's social media handles. So really funny there. But yeah, so we're in Giving Day season, and it's been very interesting for me. So as many of you know, I give a lot of nonprofit organizations, not because I'm a good person, not because it's market research for me. I want to see what the experience is like. And Giving Day started 10 or 11 years ago in earnest at universities. When they eliminated their phone-a-thon programs, they started putting in spring Giving Days as a way to acquire new donors. And I have to tell you, some of them execute them very well and do a really great job. My friends at Whitworth come to mind. They do a great job with their One Pine Day. And others, I'm kind of saddened by how generic the emails are that I receive. I received an email this year that apparently in 2016 I gave to their Giving Day, probably just to test it out, make a gift, see what happens. And of course, I never got the impact. I never knew what my $50, $100 did. But this year they sent me a like Giving Day report card kind of thing. I've got to find it in my inbox, but it was really, really not great. It kind of, it show, oh, here it is. Lynn's personal Giving Day impact. It says Lynn and the hashtag of the organization. And it said total giving, $25. Giving since 2016. Giving days, 1. And I was like, okay, so I gave you $25 10 years ago, and you sent me a really cringe automated email showing my impact. And it says, you are part of a community working together to do good. Not really. I haven't given since 2016. And so I just found it to be very empty. It came from the Office of Annual Giving, of course. But it's not meaningful to me to point out that I gave one gift 25 years ago. And so, okay, Julie, well, so great. So you're on your 12th Giving Day. Well, I give to Cornell's Giving Day every year because I am a member of their loyalty group, not because I went to Cornell, but because their email communications are so fabulous. But they do such a great job. My latest Cornell communication came on Valentine's Day, and I marked it a hero, so we'll be featuring it soon. And it says, the subject line was open for a winter love letter just for you. And it was great. And it said, this Valentine's Day, we're sharing something close to our hearts, a rare glimpse of Cornell in repose. To show our appreciation, we've captured a photo essay of the Ithaca campus during winter break when the usual bustle gives way to serene stillness. They always do such a good job for us loyal folks. And so I did a great job. So far, it's been great. So great job, Julie. And their Cornell Giving Day is usually very well run. Their emails are very well done. But I think it's weird from this other university. And then I got one, I think Monday or let me see. Another big public state institution. Their Giving Day was on February 19th. And I gave them a gift once in 2014. And so 12 years later, they sent me 5 emails on their giving day, but I'm not an alum. And I gave $25 or $50 once 12 years ago. So I feel like we're not doing great segmenting, that we have some opportunity with segmenting. Like, why not send something to me that says, come back and join us? But I'm afraid I'm receiving the same emails as everyone else. And, you can write the most brilliant thing in the world, but if I don't feel like the email was sent to me, it's not an optimal thing. Also, if you haven't yet taken the course or read the book, sorry, I'm doing a stretch. I always keep it near me. Mailed It by Ashley and Dana. Mailed It. They have a whole website. It is all about how to send great emails. We follow a ton of their advice. They're fantastic at helping you craft a great email. I'm sure they have this in audiobook and ebook as well. But Mailed It. I am a Mailed It fan, aficionado. Love those girls. And I think they teach really great best practices. But I also know that teaching the best practice isn't all. People have to incorporate them. So I'm working on a very special tool right now. I'm knee deep. I told my therapist yesterday, my psychologist, I said, I'm on a bender. And he's like, oh no. And I'm like, no, not drugs, alcohol, food, anything like that. I'm on a work bender. So I am deep in a project and I'm really excited about it. And you guys will start hearing about it in March and April. Hopefully it'll go live if I can get all my ducks in a row. Right now I have squirrels and they're at a rave, but slowly and surely I'm getting it together. So yeah, Julie, I would think that since Ashley leads emails at Cornell, you guys would have great emails, but you do. You have emails with heart and soul, and I think so much of that is missing in what we do. So tell me what's going on in your world of fundraising questions you might have. Matt Mortier has already stumped me / made me ponder with his question about, September 11th and donor event and everything like that. I'm home on island here until March, and then I head to Chicago. Then I'm home again, and then I'm going on a huge travel sojourn kind of trip in April. I'm headed to Columbia, South Carolina. I'm headed to Vegas to see Clay and work on some things there. I'm headed to the biggest fundraising conference in the States, AFP Icon in San Diego in April. Then I'm going to see my friends at Whitworth up in Spokane. I'm really excited. Then in May, I'll be in Los Angeles for AFP Los Angeles. And I'll be in Long Beach for the YMCA conference. It's called NATO. And then finally, I get to go home. So that'll be like a 3 to 4 week trip. But it'll be West Coast, West Coast. And then, so that'll be a heck of a trip. But that's okay. I'm used to the travel life. And then I'm home for a while. And then I think we're probably going to go to NACTA or NAD in Vegas, which is the University Athletics fundraising conference, which should be very interesting these days, talking about universities and athletics. The Olympics is now over, so we won't have another Olympics until 2028. One of the great honors of my career is that I've been fortunate enough to do the training out in Colorado Springs of fundraisers and those associated with the sports for the Olympics, teaching them how to fundraise, teaching them how to make their fundraising better out in Colorado Springs. And I've had the good fortune of going out to their facility, which is insanely cool. And I even got to eat at the cafeteria, so that was fun. Had a really great experience out there. My friend Martha used to lead donor relations there, and it was just a phenomenal experience. I hear also it's Girl Scout cookie time for many of you. I can't get them shipped here to the island, but I donate a lot of them online. So if you're in Girl Scout cookie land, let me know your favorite Girl Scout cookie and whether or not you've got a Girl Scout in your life and are selling those. Quite wild and free in your community. Let's see, what else is happening, or what else is kind of happening in your world or in your shop right now. Love to hear from you. Would love to hear about that from you. So just let me know. Let's see, what else can I think of? Um, again, seeing a lot of jobs out there, folks. So if you're looking, there's lots of positions out there happening, going right now. Very, very, very interesting, in my opinion, that there seem to be lots of uh, cuts, but a lot of people hiring, which is good, which is really good. So let's see. I'd love to hear from you all one new idea, maybe, that you have that you're thinking about implementing at your organization. Let's see. Karen says, we're trying to figure out processes for sharing student gratitude stories with donors. Some of our fundraisers want to share the stories with their donors. Others are wanting to just send them when we think is best. Okay. Well, Karen, most of us have a consistent process where we're sharing student or recipient impact once or twice a year. Usually that's based on either an academic calendar, if you're at a university, or some sort of cycle, like an awarding cycle or things like that. So usually I recommend that we do the financial reporting to donors in the fall. So most of us have fiscal years that close at the middle of the year, May, June, July, right? And then it takes, I don't know why it takes 82 million months, but it takes 82 million months, it feels like, at least 3 good months for finance to get us audited financial numbers. So most of us, Thanksgiving is a busy time for donor relations professionals because we're putting out our financial endowment reports. But I try never to gather my student, especially student impact communications in the fall, because imagine you're an incoming first year student, you've just landed on campus, and then like within your first 3 to 4 weeks, you get an email from someone in donor relations that says, okay, tell us the impact of your scholarship support. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I just went through sorority rush and I just signed up for classes and I'm like a month in. So I think the better timing is to, and all that so that we can get the report sent out in the fall. And I don't think that's advantageous for the students, for the donors instead. And look, let's be honest, not every student is retained at their university. So they make decisions, they leave, they go home, they transfer, they decide college, especially a 4-year, isn't for them. They didn't get into the sorority they wanted in sorority recruitment, all that good stuff. So I think spring. So I like to gather the student information in February. And I like to have it submitted before they leave for spring break. That's my ideal timing. And then it takes me, a good 3 weeks to a month to edit it, to get it in the format it needs to be, because most of us don't have automated processes. We're working on it, but, I know I'm on it awarded, and Chelsea at FundMiner have great programming there. But, and then I like to send it out in April. So that way it gives me a spring touch with my donors in addition to my fall touch. So that's my ideal scenario. If some of you do it differently, would love to hear about that with you. But that's kind of how I feel about it. Um, so yeah, just want to reaffirm that that's kind of how we recommend that folks do it. So would love to hear from you if you have something different. What you don't want to do is them on ad hoc. You don't want to do them. We don't want to sprinkle it throughout time. You want to deliver them all at once because one donor could have 5 scholarship recipients and one scholarship recipient could have 5 different donors. Make sense? Hopefully that helps you, Karen, but that's kind of how we recommend it at our partner institutions, at our client sites. Yeah. And sticking with that schedule is really important. So it might vary by a week or two. Okay, so Julie says they gather them, and then when they have a like a group of them, they send them out. So rather than waiting too long, they gather them and send them out in groupings. So that sounds about every 6 weeks or so. So everybody has, so they're, what I hear Julie saying is they're doing them on a rolling basis. So everybody has a different way of doing them, but I really think it's important. Again, we're talking about impact from beneficiaries, not student thank you notes as much, right? Because it's our job to thank the donors, and we want to make sure that we're clear on donor beneficiary interactions, but also that it's an opportunity for us to showcase the beneficiaries as well. So make sure it's voluntary. Make sure, Aman and I had a great webinar on beneficiary donor gratitude and impact recently. Maybe some of you can watch that recording. Just depends on kind of what you want to do. But compulsory and rote, the more compulsory you make it, the more thoughtless you make it for a student, the more you're going to get AI responses. And let me tell you, they all sound alike. And we're going to be launching an AI series that'll start in April, but we'll be launching it in March for sale. I think next week. Not quite sure. Can't remember because Ashley's not living in my brain today. But we're going to launch an AI series, but not for necessarily for generative content. We're going to teach you how to use AI as a tool. So I'm very excited about that launch and about helping you all with AI and also, responsible usage of AI. So looking forward to that, looking forward to beyond the, let me just plug some generic prompts into ChatGPT and hope and pray that I get something better than what already exists. And right now, we're working. We have some room to grow in our AI usage. The biggest place I think we have the room to grow is that most of us don't have AI usage policies at all. Aha, an AI series is launching March 4th, says a little birdie. Thank you. So next week, see, I knew there were people out there just listening and waiting to help. I'm very excited about it because it's going to be a working series, and the last webinar in the series is actually an hour and a half, like kind of workshop where you're going to work on it live together. So looking forward to that. So a reality in our life. But again, I think I like to use AI for things I can't do myself or that I'm not great at. And I'm a good writer, so I like to write. I think the practice of crafting messaging is really important. And so I think that's like really really important as well. So yeah, that's just kind of my opinion on it. Like I said, I'm learning a new tool. I'm learning how to code right now. Kind of like learning a different language, and languages are my things. So Matt said, who should take the lead in creating an AI policy? Executive management or the development department? Yes, is my answer, Melanie. I think everyone should take an active role um, in uh, in developing an AI policy, especially when it comes to usage, because the way executive management uses AI and the way a development department uses AI are very different. We also have different security concerns or security kind of issues to think about. So I think it's really important that the answer is yes and. So you can also look, you can use AI, haha, to help search for nonprofit organization AI policies. I know some universities have some really good ones. I know some nonprofit orgs do, but I want that policy in place because I want to protect both the donor and myself as a user, right? So love that. So Matt says there's 100 new ideas and processes at Michigan State. One new one that I'm pulling some information on is a program to educate and train our endowment donors on what to expect as a donor and the companion piece for our scholarship recipients. Really, we need to set expectations on what is okay and what is not okay. You know what? You're in early conversations, but there's two organizations that have already done this really well that stand out to me. So the first, of course, Kim Tobin came from Colorado State. Now, I think they did this after she left, but they created the most amazing website for scholarship recipients and donors. I'm going to cut and paste it here for you, Matt, and everyone. And it has a chart, if you scroll to the middle of it, that says, here's our scholarship philosophy. And it says, here's what the university is responsible for, here's what donors are responsible for, and here's what recipients are responsible for. So I really like that. And then the other piece that I think you need to help educate your donors is a welcome to the endowment booklet, a welcome to the endowment piece. And lots of organizations have done this. Okay, good. I'm glad you have that as your model. This is the Welcome to the Endowment booklet. This is Miami University's version of it. University of Florida was one of the first that ever did it. I want to give props to their team. And so just wanted to shout that out. But a welcome to the endowment for both the donor and a welcome to the endowment for the beneficiary, like a faculty member or something like that. So uh, we created one at the University of Manitoba. So yeah, there's just a lot of good that can be done, from clear boundaries, guidelines, encouragement, things like that. So I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try to paste the Manitoba one that we created in there and see if it works. But there are many organizations that now have it. So I don't know if that link will work. I'm doubtful in my linkability skills uh, sometimes. So, but you can search. Yeah, I put the Colorado State site. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I love that you're doing that, because I think more of us need to make our expectations clear when it comes to donors and opportunities with them. And, just so yeah, I think it's really important. I think that's just crucial. So really be thoughtful about that and how it works. So love that you're thinking about that. So I just found out today, by the way, that my favorite author, one of my favorite authors, Adam Grant, is coming out with a new book in October, and it's called Vibe. So it's called The Secrets of Strong Connections in a Lonely World. And you know what? That's what this community is about. It is about, strong connections. That's what we're always trying to foster. So if you haven't yet read Adam Grant, Give and Take, all of his books are I mean, just brilliant. His Instagram, I'm constantly reposting. Think Again is one of my other favorites, and then Originals. Also, if you haven't read Hidden Potential, but his new book is going to be Vibe. He sent me an email. That's the way I feel when he writes, is that I feel like he's writing to me, but I love him. But I just feel that he's really talking about, okay, the link to the endowment packet. Yay, it worked. Okay, great. So Adam Grant, Give and Take is a book I give people. Originals, Hidden Potential, and Think Again. Those are my favorite. And I'm always stunned because he's only 44. I've written a couple books, and I just know how hard it is to write books. So massive kudos to Adam. He's got a new book called Vibe coming out in October. So that will be my birthday present to myself. I'm very excited. I literally will just sop up his books with a biscuit. They're so good. So should have known he was coming out with a new book. He also has a book, kind of a club, kind of a thing. I don't know how to it's called the Next Big Idea Club. And they send out amazing books to you in a bundle. It's a great gift to give to someone. And I really enjoy my subscription to them. It's like getting a present wrapped just for me. But yeah, Next Big Idea Club, the link's right there. I really enjoy it because it's curated by Malcolm Gladwell, Adam Grant, Susan Cain, who wrote Grit, and Daniel Pink. So I'm big fans of all of them. And so it's great. Whether you use the guides, the app, all of that stuff, I just find it to be a great gift to give people. So, it's a good one. I think I still so value learning, so value knowledge. And I like that I can feel when these folks pick the books, and I just really feel deeply about that. So just trying to give you some of the things I love, not trying to be an influencer or anything. Let's see. We're almost out of time. We've got 3 more minutes. So thank you all so much for joining me. As always, we have some new exciting things happening. Like I said, I've been on a little bit of a learning coding and development bender. I've got a new tool coming. Lots of exciting things happening, and I wish you all well. I hope you all are being kind to yourself, taking some time for yourselves. Do something nice for yourself, get yourself what you need, a special drink, a special snack, a special something. Maybe it's a new journal book. My friend Chelsea gave me my current journal book. It's beautiful. It says Donor Relations Group and then my name on it. It's really, really pretty. And my new idea has been like all over this book. So I can't show it to you. But I'm really excited. Hopefully I'll see you all either online. Well, hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks, but either online or maybe in person in Chicago or Nashville. So talk to you soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks to Francis for helping me. Appreciate you all. Have a good one.